Wake up in the morning, I don't got no worries, cause it's a beautiful day. So many wonder how long we will be here. Tell them that we're here to stay. Hey yo, let's get it. Boss Talk straight from the city with true heart. We got champs in the making and champs that are rule them all. Got that all sport, optimal prime, ready to dominate. The hottest conversations, uncensored, it's the time and place. Boss Talks, keep it uncensored, it's all hard. You could be from all walks, come tune in to Boss Talks. Got that all sport, optimal prime, ready to dominate. Hottest conversations, uncensored, it's the time and place. Boss Talk.
Listen, we took a little bit of a break. We released some videos we had canned. That's kind of my fault.
I don't even want to say it's your fault.
Well, yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
Here's the thing is Tino doesn't like to take time off. So God said, listen, I'm gonna make you take some time off.
Yes, he did.
So,
yes, he did.
yeah.
He always finds a way to slow you down. But listen, we're back better than ever.
Yeah.
And again, welcome back. Boss Talk Uncensored. My name is Tino Amaya. I'm here with my good friend, co-host
Jeff Copi. Shout out. Let's do some shout outs real quick.
Yes,
Shout
let's
out
go.
Triple D Liquidation. Good stuff at a great price. I'm actually getting ready to go unload another pallet right now. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
And then Monroe Nutrition. We are Monroe, right between our diner and Monroe Florist. Come in, get your good vibes, healthy tea, healthy shakes.
Yeah, man.
What you got, Tino?
Well, as you know, Tino Amaya State Farm Insurance Agency, 15621 South Telegraph Road, celebrating our 20th year. I just got my 20-year plaque, man.
That's
bananas. Awesome. Long time. Had a lot of great clients over the years. Just proud to be an integral part of the Monroe community, of course. And then Amaya's Fresh Mexican Grill. We make it fresh daily.
Dude.
Or my mama would just
That's
absolutely slap me. She didn't let me get away with nothing. And then last but not least, to my group, Inc., we do, small restaurant renovations, relaunches, menu engineering, consultation. If you need something, give us a shout. A couple quick shout outs. Obviously, Brain Jerk Josh.
Yes.
Got to give Josh, our producer, a big shout out. He's got the green screen going.
Dude, this is sweet.
It is great. Great. We got the logo back there. Yeah, you can't see it.
Josh, can we do something crazy? Like, I'll be like, put fire on them. And then there's like fire, like Tino says a bar, and I'm like, put fire on them.
Put fire on
and
it
then there's
now.
fire.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, so
I've seen a picture of Bronco there. You had him in the background.
Yeah, that was on this wall.
Here?
Yeah. That's all Brain Jerk Josh, man. This guy's got just an amazing imagination. Josh Moore, our producer, doing a great job for us. So today, wait, who else we want to shout out really quick?
Man, let's shout out D Mills. He's got another fight coming April 14th. Let's go 12-0.
Yes.
12-0.
D Mills. Well, and you know what? So on that, all the boxers here in Monroe, dude, we've got to stay. Yeah,
Matt's going crazy. We're getting ready to have a guy on the podcast soon. No Love Weber.
Yes,
he's 7-0 right now. I mean, all these, they just put on a great show. Shout out to Carlos Clip. It's just amazing.
Yeah. So and we want to support all of our Monroe guys. I mean, that's one thing that you and I are very big supporters of all things Monroe. Have to make sure, yes. And then, of course, Conquering Giants. We got to give a shout out to our good friend, man, come on, Kyle Buckley.
Yes.
Changing lives every single day, 365. And then, of course, he just launched that new line of God Wins.
Yes, that's pretty sweet.
Go to his website, go to his Facebook page, check him out. Man, is that it? Is that all we got?
Man, and let's just give a shout out to BTT. Those guys always,
absolutely.
They're like the OGs.
You know what? And Devin Kennedy. Devin just launched his podcast with Coach Jones.
Yeah.
So listen, there's a lot of stuff happening. A lot of people hitting the airwaves. We're not the only ones. I mean, it's the hottest show on the planet. I'm just saying, but
hottest show.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into today. So today on our show, we've got Jeff Hill and Ed Shinovar from Cravings. We're going to talk a little bit about going from an ice cream shop to a card collectible shop. And then Jeff bringing in, oh man, listen, one of my absolute favorite guys of all time, UFC legend. can I say UFC legend when they were men and actually fought like 25 times a night, knocking people out
25 times a night.
It seemed like it. Geez,
right.
OP. No time limit days. Then they switched like the 30 minutes straight, 30-minute time limit. But Dan the Beast Severn, you heard that right. Jeff has got him coming in for an autograph signing. Then he's coming over to Amaya. Well, we're doing a podcast with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's coming to Amaya's. We're going to be hosting Dan the Beast, signing autographs. I'm going to let Jeff get into all that here in just a second. But signing autographs, shaking hands, talking about, his time in the UFC. And then, of course, letting everybody know what he's up to now. So
time out.
Yeah, man. Let's go.
Where doing like, am I in that podcast?
I mean, you could come along.
What's going on?
We're doing Pillar Talk.
Oh, it's on Pillar
it's on
Talk.
Pillar
Okay,
Talk.
all right.
But dude, come along.
Dude, I'm gonna
Drop
I just
in.
want to be a fly on the wall.
That's what I'm saying. Well, here's the thing. I was hoping you would show up because I want Dan to like display some of his favorite moves, and he's gonna need someone to choke out. He's gonna need someone to twist up.
That'd be cool.
I've
been in the ring with him. You don't really want that. I promise you. You
so
do not
busy.
want it. Todd Williams always tells me, he goes, Eddie, you always are welcome to free lessons.
Yeah.
All you got to do is show up. He goes, I'll give you all the free lessons you want.
Oh, yeah. No, we know Todd too well.
Yeah, I'm a little too busy. I'm a little too busy that day.
I'll never charge you, he says.
Yeah, all right.
I've been in the ring more than once with Dan, and that's the stupidest thing I ever did in my life.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Who wants to start first? Who wants to tell us a little bit? All right, Ed, let's get going, man. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. I'm sure you're a Monroe guy, so I'm sure a lot of people know you. But for those people, this is streaming all over on every platform nationwide. Tell a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Ed Shinovar, born and raised in Monroe my whole life. 52. I'll be 53 here in about a month. Love the community. Like Bronco would always say, born and raised in Monroe, and it's my hometown. It always will be.
Yeah. Raised your family here and everything.
Yeah. I grew up out in the beaches. That's where I started collecting cards. When I was about 12 years old with all they called us beach rats back then, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? And started collecting cards when I was 12 years old, and I used to come downtown, and Luke Connor had a watch shop right over there on East. This is East Front, that First Street over there.
Yeah. First.
Big tall guy. I think he's still living. I think somebody told me he's almost 100 years old. But I would mow lawns, and I go in there and just buy cards whenever I could. That was my hobby, and bring them home, sort them, make sets. And I went to the flea market one time with my grandpa over on Herd Road, and he rented tables, and I said, I'm gonna sell some cards. You know what I mean?
Now, how old were you when that happened?
Probably 13.
Wow! So you became a hustler early,
right?
Yeah. And my grandpa, I think, paid $5 for a table, and he used to buy jewelry. He would buy cologne. He would sell apple cider that he'd make down here in the East End. And
wow!
I put 3 sets together, and I sold them for like $30, $10 a set. And
now, what year was this?
This was probably 84.
Oh man, $30 in 1984. You were rich, brother.
I mean, I'm on a lot of yeah. But anyways, I was so happy. My grandfather was mad. Like I made $30 and he didn't sell like $15 worth of stuff that day.
Dang. Wow.
And I said, what's the matter? He goes, nothing. And I'm like, do you want some money for the table? And he's like,
right, yeah.
I expected him to say no. He's like, well, yeah, I want some money, He put the money in his pocket, and then I'm like, wow, I can make money doing something I love and enjoy. And I was never a collector, you know what I mean? Some people get attached to the card, they don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
It's their PC, they put them on their walls. I mean, I want dollar bills, so I buy something, I sell it. I think it's hard to be a card shop owner, to be a broker and a collector. You know what I mean? So something comes in, if I buy it for $1, somebody's gonna give me $2, it's gone.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
So it's kind of you know who Gary Vee is?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It does all like the
yeah.
it does all the garage selling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the Gary V mentality. Everything's for sale.
Yeah.
All the time.
Everything's for sale.
Yeah. So now comic books too. So were you collecting comic books at that point or no?
I got into the comics early in like 1990 when Image came out. They had Spawn. They had,
isn't that around the time they were doing like
Savage
all the Gold
Dragon.
Leaf stuff as well? Like they were doing like the Gold Leaf magazines. Yeah.
They just started producing so much stuff in the 90s and it started, all right, maybe I should do comics. Maybe I should do Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels was big. Maybe I should just stick with cards. And there were just a lot of opportunities back in the late 80s to early 90s, and everyone had the same mentality that I'm gonna buy these cards and I'm gonna get rich someday.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, lo and behold, no one knows that they printed 80 billion cards back in the late 80s and 90s. And I mean, you used to buy these sets on JCPenney's for $24 a set. You know what I mean? They ship them right to your house. You wanted one for Christmas. You wanted one for your birthday. I used to get cards for Easter. Those sets are 34 years old. 34 years old today, and we're $5.
Wow.
And when most people call me with a collection, they're like, I got some old cards. I'm like, 50s and 60s. No, these are like 35 years old. These are in the 80s and 90s.
You're like, yeah, I'll give you $250 for them.
Right.
I have to look at everything because you never know. You know what I mean? Somebody might have something in that collection.
That little diamond in the rough.
Yeah, they could have had that Ty Cobb that slid in there from their great-great-grandpa, and they might have nothing but 1990 Sammy Sosa cards that ain't worth 25 cents. So I give people the time to evaluate and look at every one of their collection.
Let me ask you this. How do you actually put a value on something? It's almost like art, right? Because it's only valuable to somebody that wants to buy it. I mean, it's kind of like what you do, right? I mean, it's kind of similar.
Well, back in the 80s, there was a price guide, a Beckett price guide. Okay. And it came out once a month. So the cards either went up and down every month. They had a little arrow if they went up. They had a little arrow if they went down. And I'm not sure who really determined what the value of the cards were. Okay. And that went on for years. Everybody would buy their Beckett's, and you had a low end, which if the card was in bad condition, it was worth $2. And you had a high end. If it was in great condition, it was worth $6. All right. So the card sold between $2 and $6. And that's what we went by for generations. And a lot of times, no one's going to give you more than $6 for a card. If the book tells you it's worth $6, they want it for $4.
Right.
I would tell you it's in bad condition. I want it for $2, but then I try to sell it for $6 because I think it's in good condition.
Man, look at this end right here. Look at this.
Right.
This is
I can't do nothing with this. Yeah.
But as the industry changed and more product come out, Panini come out, technology started taking over and internet and stuff like that, and people started selling stuff online. So you got eBay, you got Amazon, you got all of these places that you can sell your items. I mean, eBay, everybody in the world buys. So, if you sell 100 Aaron Judge rookies on eBay, you take the average cost on those 100 cards, and that's what that card's worth, because that's what the people in the country are willing to pay.
Yeah.
I mean, you might pay $80 for it. Last year, he gets hurt, and everybody's selling them for $40 now.
Yeah.
So that card's only worth $40 because that's what the people.
So can I ask you a question? So Michael Jordan.
Oh, I knew this was coming. I knew.
No. I gotta ask.
Right.
So if I had a rookie Michael Jordan, what would that be tentatively worth today? In mint condition.
Mint condition is considered a PSA 9 or a Beckett 9.
Okay.
Probably about $3, right?
No, it'd be worth about $30,000.
That's staying in my safe. What about LBJ? If I had a LeBron James rookie.
You didn't let me finish.
Oh, okay. All right.
If your Michael Jordan was really mint and PSA was degraded, a PSA 10 it'd be worth $150,000. That big of a difference between a 9 and a 10.
Holy bananas.
It might have a white corner. It might be off center. It might have a speckle. I'm not a big fan of the grading.
Yeah.
But it started taking over in the late 90s, and everybody just started this card gem mint. You take a 9 and you take a 10, you can't tell.
You can't tell the difference.
Looking at it.
Yeah.
I used to be, how much money you spend with the grading company, your last name, you get the 10s, everybody else gets the 8s and 9s, right?
Yeah.
We're just taking your money, we're giving everybody else.
Right.
It was like a mafia, but
right. Now, what about LeBron? If I had if somebody had a
mind
LeBron,
you, he's still playing, so
but still,
well, he's not like Michael Jordan.
Of course he's not.
He's got in the collecting business, he's not. He's got like 25 rookie cards.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan got one.
Right.
86 Fleer.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan got Topps. He's got Topps Chrome. He's got Fleer. He's got Exquisite. He's got Upper Deck. He's got just there's too many rookie cards. But his best card is an Exquisite autograph RPA rookie. They numbered him to 99. But you probably have his Topps.
Oh, I don't actually have one. No. I was just giving you a hard time.
If you had
if I had that card, trust me.
Here you go. If you had a PSA 10 LeBron James, which is the highest grade you can get, for about $2,600.
You hear that, Jeff?
All right. If you had a PSA 2 Michael Jordan, it's worth about $2,600.
Because Michael Jordan's been retired.
No, it's because he's the best.
He's got some shoes.
It's because he's the
Michael
best.
Jordan to go.
He's the GOAT.
That's what I love about the card industry.
You heard? I'm sorry. Can you say that out loud?
Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
Thank you.
Always will be. I mean,
and I respect you've been a coach before. You've had sons that are athletes, so I respect what you're saying, and I'm just gonna keep it at that. I respect what you're saying.
So, all right,
Michael Jordan was a leader from day one till the day he retired. He didn't whine, he didn't pout, he didn't cry, he didn't flop. If you play with Michael Jordan, you played 100%, or you didn't play with him.
Yeah, 90s was an easy time to do that too.
He didn't say, "Go get me Anthony Davis, go get me Russell Westbrook." You know what? They gave him Paxton, they gave him Kerr, they gave him Cartwright, they gave him Purdue, they gave him Kukoc, and they just kicked everybody's butt.
How much did he pay you? How much did he pay you to say this?
You heard what the man's saying. He's spitting facts, like FACTS #facts.
But back to the Michael Jordan thing. There's a national card convention that goes on every year. They have it in Chicago, they have it in Atlantic City, they have it out in California, they have it in Cleveland. I was submitting some cards to PSA, and it said, "Enter for a chance to win a Michael Jordan rookie, PSA 9. We're giving away 3 of them at the Nationals in Chicago." I'm like, man, it's gonna take me 5 minutes to fill it out. What the heck I got to lose, right?
Yeah.
So I filled it out. I submitted my cards, and a few weeks later, I was heading to Chicago. I got down to Chicago, and my buddy, Adam Rowe, he was actually from Monroe, him and his brother Jason, and they're some of the biggest buyers in the world, right? So they get tables down there at Nationals, and I set up with them. I work for them. I buy deals for them. My phone rings, and I'm like, "Hello," and he's like, "Yeah, this is Dan from PSA." I'm like, "Oh man, don't tell me my order's messed up," because I sent him some Andrew Luck contenders card. They were worth like $1,000 at the time, and I figured they're gonna tell me they damaged one. He's like, "Congratulations!" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you won today's Michael Jordan PSA 9 rookie."
Dang.
Wow.
It's going for like $6,000 at the time, right?
Dang.
And I said, "I'll be over a minute." He's like, "Well, you here?" I'm like, "I can see your booth."
Yeah.
I'm like waving, and he's like, "All right, I see it." He's like, "All right, come on over in about 30 minutes and we'll go live and we'll present you with the rookie card." Well, I had 30 minutes before I got the card, right? I was walking around them tables. You want to buy Jordan? You want to buy Jordan? You want to buy Jordan?
Wow.
So I had it sold for $5,500 before I even got it, right?
Oh my
so
word.
I go over there, I go live on TV, they present it, I open the box, I hold it up, I shake the president's hand, walk around 3 tables, hand the guy, he gives me $5,500, and I put it in my pocket, and
dang.
Good night out in Chicago we went.
And now you said that's worth like 30,000?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yeah, it is.
How long ago was that?
This was 2000 and maybe 19, right before the pandemic.
Wow.
Right before the pandemic.
Wow. That's crazy.
Dang.
Man, that went up quite a bit in just that little bit of time.
Well, you know, LeBron brought Jordan's stock up. You know,
by wearing all his
brought
gear.
him relevant again.
Yeah, because he wears everything Jordan.
He never did that.
You know what I'm saying?
He never
this is
did
what
that.
happens.
The pandemic is what brought the card industry to life.
Did it?
And I believe the reason it happened is people like to spend money.
Okay? Yeah.
And when everything shut down for a month, couldn't go to Disney World, couldn't go to a ball game.
Yeah.
Couldn't go out to eat. You know what you mean? What are these people going to spend their money on?
Well, let's be clear. It shut down for more than a month.
Right. Yeah.
Because I was shut down.
Right.
I was shut down.
4 months.
Well, then even after we reopened, I mean,
Yeah.
restaurant industry wise,
But
I mean, man, we were so
down.
regulated.
And
Jeez, oh Pete.
Yeah.
I was allowed to be open.
Yeah, same.
Retail.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people just wanted to spend money on
Well,
stuff.
well, let's talk about that for a second. So did you get your start like when everything switched to online? So you were going to shows. Then when everything kind of started, technology picked up. Did you switch to an online base and start selling online?
I started doing shows at first.
Okay.
And I started doing shows heavy back in 2004. I was in and out of the game for a lot. You know, I mean, I was heavy with Jordan. I was heavy when Peyton Manning and Randy Moss in '98.
Yeah.
Then when LeBron came out in 2003, me and my kids got back in it. I was buying cards.
What about Kobe?
Kobe, I missed that boat on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I got back into a heavy with '98 with Peyton Manning and Randy Moss. I missed a lot of Kobe stuff. But I started buying Kobe stuff when I got back into it. You could buy a Topps rookie for $10 just up to 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And now a PSA 10 worth $1,000
For a Kobe.
But I was in and out of the
surprised
game.
you
Okay,
think
I
it'd
was
be
in and
worth
out
more.
of the game, and I still had some cards. They were in my basement. I picked up another hobby, which was harness horse racing. I used to go down to Toledo.
Wow.
You know, and they closed the track down in like 2014, I think it was. They closed the track down, and I'm like, I gotta find something to do.
Yeah.
So for Christmas, I got a Amazon gift card.
Mm.
I'm just browsing the internet, and I see these advertisements pop up. Buy a 1983 Top Fleer baseball set. Punched in the codes on that card, started buying, started doing shows, buying and selling at the shows. Then when I met my buddy Adam Rowe, he's got Breakers Row. I do all my stuff on eBay. I'm like, man, eBay's got fees.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking 13%.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
If I sell a card for $100, I pay eBay 13%.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm making $87.
Right.
And the problem with that, when people bring a card into you and for the $100, they want $85 for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Most of my sales, my big sales, are on the internet.
Yeah.
So I mean that's why the shops are starting to stay open longer. You're seeing more shops as they can supplement the revenue, their income. They can sell on eBay, they can sell on Facebook, they can do shows. I mean, back in the 80s, if they didn't walk through your door and spend money, you didn't make money.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so many more opportunities to be successful
Right.
in the card industry right now.
Yeah.
And that's why you got a lot more shops in Michigan than you did back in
So
late
when did you
90s.
make the transition then from like doing that stuff to like brick and mortar? Because let's talk a little bit about the transition from Cravings, the ice cream shop. Is
Yes,
everyone?
So real quick, I want to hear when Jeff came into this too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna kind of bring that in right now because Cravings was the ice cream shop.
Well, I worked there in high school, my senior year
at Cravings.
at Cravings. I was running all the
Wait. When was your senior year?
2015.
Oh yeah, that's when it was horrible. I remember that year.
Oh wow.
freezer burn ice cream.
But yeah, I was running all the trailers and stuff out at the state park.
Okay.
The ball games, all the softball games. They had that gig, and I was doing all that stuff. And so I never actually was in the shop too much. I think maybe one time, but other than I was mostly out at all the trailers and all that stuff. And
All right, well, thank you for having me here first.
Oh, 100%, man. Thank you for coming.
Cravings Ice Cream Shop. I've known Sean McGowan. He owned the building.
Yeah.
For 30 years. We used to do shows together, and we done a lot of deals together. And he had the ice cream shop here, and he used to set up out the fairgrounds, and they do their chocolates and that's out the fairgrounds. Well, they're still doing that. That's
okay.
why they won't give me sole
ownership of the thing. Yeah.
Few years ago, maybe three years ago, he had some stuff out there. He used to actually carry Pokemon cards in there. He said with the ice cream and magic.
Right.
I just started buying some stuff because I'm always online. I'm like, man, I can sell it back for $99. He got it for $59. I was like, take $50 for that box? Yeah, sure. All right. You got any more at home? Yeah, I got a few more. I'll bring them in tomorrow. So he noticed I was buying a bunch of cards from him. He's like, is the card business good? I said, you know what? You can make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
So I started buying stuff off him, and then he had all this inventory from the shop and the other shop he used to have. And I told him I always wanted a card shop back in Monroe. And even when I was 15 years old and I would go into Connors and Donald Graham, I was like, one day I'd love to own a card shop.
Yeah.
And I started talking to him about it, and he's like, I'll rent you my building, Cravings. I'm like, well, let me check it out. So we go down there. I go in there. He's got showcases in there. He's got Slurpee machines. He's got hot dog machines. He's got nacho machine, pizza, ice cream. I said, dude, we can call this cones and cards.
Yeah. Wow.
He's like, that's a great idea. He goes, I'll let you use the equipment. You won't have to pay nothing for it.
So do you serve ice cream and stuff in there?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Back off.
Anyways, I said, okay. And he gave me a really good deal on the rent. So I'm like, okay, my next question, utilities. I said, what's your water bill? He's like, $60, $40 every 2 months. Cool. What's your gas bill? He goes, I never even hooked it up. We got insulated walls and outer guys heated up, right? I was like, all right. We did find out we did have our first 2 years later. I said, what's your electric bill? He goes, about $1,700 to $2,000 a month.
Sounds about right.
I said, get them ice cream machines out.
Right.
I don't want. I'm paying $500 a month for your rent, and I got to pay $1,700 for electric. I said, you know how many ice cream cones I got to sell to make up $1,700?
Yeah.
But I love the idea of cones and cards. Kids and cards, and I like ice cream myself. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But anyways, I ended up leasing the building from him, and I knew I wasn't gonna make a lot of money in the building.
Right.
And I didn't have to because he gave me a good lease and I just drew a blank. I didn't have to because I was supplementing my stuff.
Right. Because you have and you also have a day job.
Right.
So
and see, selling is the easy part in this industry. Anybody can sell these cards. Buying is the hardest part.
Right.
You got to be able to buy stuff in order to sell it. And if you can't buy it at the right price, you can't make money selling it.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of vintage people. There's a lot of vintage collectors in Monroe. There's a lot of cards out there. I said, you know what? If I can just open up and if I can make money off of people bringing stuff to me, selling it online, selling it at the shows, I can be successful.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for people bringing cards into me right now, I wouldn't be in business because that's where I make most of my money, buying stuff off of you, buying stuff off of, people just walking in. And I get calls all the time, and I keep waiting for that big deal. I haven't got that big one yet. You know what I mean? I want somebody to say, hey,
man, you sound, that sounds just like you right now, man. Jeez, OP,
right.
The liquidations.
Right.
But I opened up so I can have an opportunity to buy. And unfortunately, I turn away most deals because people think everything's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you bring me in something, I don't care if it's worth $10 or it's worth $500,000, I'm going to give you an honest tell you what it is, and I'm gonna pay you a good price. You know, they always say pig get fat and hog get slaughtered.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want somebody coming in there and say, "Oh yeah, that guy gave me $10 for his card. He sold it. It was a $2,000 card." I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
You know what? If I can make $25 and you make $25 and you're happy, circle keeps going round and round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that started about 2 years ago, and it's been great. I love the kids. I love the stories. And if you're out there, you got cards you want to sell, we're open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, we'll plug us with your. You have Facebook page.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
What's the Facebook page?
It's Cravings Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Okay. And how about web page?
I don't have a website.
Okay.
Just
Facebook.
Just on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.
Yeah.
That's fine. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then what's the address down there?
31 East Front Street.
31 East Front. You heard him. 31 East Front, right down the road, right down
across on the corner of Washington there.
So now,
right
how
down
does
the road from Amaya?
Get cards.
Lunch,
listen, man, come taco.
Right.
Listen, I think we need to change it. So instead of cones in cars, it needs to be like tacos in cars or
chips
something.
And cards.
Right.
Chips and cards. Let's go, man.
Right.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So now, how does Jeff come into play? How did you get involved here?
Well, I actually retired about 4 years ago. I had a heart transplant.
Okay.
Oh wow.
And I got bored sitting at home. I'd go in and I'd buy 10-cent cards, quarter cards, whatever off of him. And
Cardinals. He had to buy Cardinals.
Yeah,
he would come in
St.
and buy
Louis.
all my Cardinals. I got one guy buy all my Tigers, one guy buy all my
I'm
Pirates.
from St. Louis.
He would come in and buy all my Cardinals.
You know, and so I would buy them, and we got to talking all. I said, well, let's open up Fridays. That way, it take a little of the pressure off Saturday and Sundays. Well, it ended up we're opening Thursdays now and Wednesdays, and it works out really well. I love it too. I've done it for 30-something years.
Yeah.
And I actually sold my first collection and bought my first house.
Wow.
I sold it to Dean Kolstad, which played in the San Jose Sharks organization.
Wow.
He came to my house and loaded it up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, he started hanging out because I look at my card shop as like they go to Larson to hang out in PS. They have a couple drinks and they like the talk. You know, at the barbershop they go and they want to tell their story.
That's
so,
it.
You know
Yes.
I want people coming in. Even if you don't buy anything, just stop in and say hello. Tell me what you used to have. Tell me how much you sold your Babe Ruth for. You know, tell me some stories. I like the stories. And this guy right here, he's got stories for days.
Well,
I've been around the block.
Well, listen,
I wrestled with this guy.
We had lunch earlier, and that's kind of how this came about. We were having lunch earlier, and I said, "Man," he started telling me about stuff with Dan Severin, and we're going to get into that next. And I'm like, "Bro, you got to be on my podcast. You got to come on the podcast."
I mean, he's brought Icky Wood to my store, Tony Atlas to my store.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I picked Icky Wood up at the hotel, and man, we had a good night out. Oh yeah,
he did.
Icky Wood there, Tony Atlas. You know, and we're gonna have Dan Severin. He knows. If you listen to him talking, you're gonna be like, this guy is full of BS, but he's not, man. This guy is a real deal.
Okay, so let's talk about Dan Severin. How did that come about?
Well, I was actually at Dan's house the other day when I called you.
Yeah,
and
casually.
Just no, listen. Hold on, I got to
it's-
tell you. So he calls me up and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And, this is Jeff Hill, Cravings. I go, "Oh yeah, I know who you are." He goes, "Yeah, I'm here at Dan Severin's house," and I go, "Like the Dan Severin?" Like literally, I go, "Wait. Yeah, you just said it so casually, just passed right over. I'm here at Dan's house. We're just hanging out." I'm like, "Wait. The Dan Severin?" He goes, "Yeah, you want to talk to him? Hold on a second. I'll put him on speakerphone."
That's awesome.
That's the way most people are. We were all the same way.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
Well, like I said, I've traveled the world with Dan. I mean, literally the world with him.
Wow.
And we shared motel rooms together, and he's no different than the guy you have working for you.
Yeah.
He's just a great person.
But how did that relate? Because Dan's from Coldwater. You're from St. Louis.
Well, I actually lived on the other side of the state. I moved up here when I was younger.
Oh, okay.
I lived on the other side of the state, and me and him both were professional wrestlers. I did it for 35 years.
Wow.
And to make it long, actually, Harley Race was the guy who trained me.
Okay.
Down in St. Louis. But then me and Dan got together, and we both.
Were you the one that was always supposed to lose every match?
You know what?
They're played out.
You do what you got to do.
Hey, listen, he's from Monroe. You can tell. He's from Monroe.
You do what you have to do to get paid.
That's right. There's nothing right. Money.
That's it.
Hey, that works. It didn't matter to me at all.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we, like I said, we traveled the world together and different things like that. We became good friends because neither one of us drank, did any kind of drugs at all.
Yeah.
So we had to hang out with each other because, not to rat anyone out, a lot of the people in that business did do steroids, do painkillers and things like that.
What company were you guys with?
Well, at that time, he was with WWE, and I was just floating around with.
You're doing the
anybody who would hire me.
Stuff. Gotcha.
But I was actually one of the highest paid in the country, not under contract.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And I won't tell you how much I made because it kind of embarrasses me, but I made good money.
There you go.
But yeah, like I said, and Dan would probably be mad at me when he heard.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's just a normal person. He's very down. He's probably the most down to earth person you meet.
Okay.
And I'm excited to bring him in so everybody can have a chance to sit down and talk with him and get stuff signed. And it's actually this Saturday, pretty much all day long in Monroe.
Yeah. He's going to be here all day long.
I'm coming.
Dude, you have to.
Dude,
you have to.
It'd be on Cravings between 1 and 3, and then at your place from 5
till whenever the fights are on, because we're gonna have them
real quick.
We're doing the MMA.
Real quick, we're watching the MMA fights.
Yeah.
Who do you guys got for that main event?
Oh man,
who's on the card?
We got for the main event. We got Leon Edwards against the Nigerian Nightmare.
And I have to let's be honest. Leon got lucky.
I would say
that. I mean, dude, he was losing. He was down literally all 5 rounds coming into that last minute. But that's fighting. Right. How many times have you seen a guy? You know what I mean? And you boxed. How many times have you seen a guy where, man, they're just getting the snot knocked out of them for 6, 7, 8 rounds, and then all it takes is lightning in the bottle. That one hook.
Tony and Michael Nunn was a perfect example of that. When James Lights Out Tony beat Michael Nunn.
Yes,
Michael Nunn won every round until James Lights Out Tony just.
It was that overhand.
Bow.
That's literally how that. So this is their 3rd time fight, and they fought right at the beginning of their careers, and then they just fought in August. Kamaru Usman was the champion. He was pound for pound. All that stuff, and beating the crap out of this guy. I mean, it was over. There was a minute left, and he lands a head kick on him, knocks him out. So, so
anything can happen in that sport.
Yes. So, what do you think? Who do you got for that main?
The
Nigerian Nightmare.
Yeah. You know what I do too. I think he's going to be a little bit more focused. I think and we see this happen in a lot of these sports. We see this happen lots of times. Guys start to get a little bit more relaxed. It was literally down to the last minute.
Yeah.
Hands came down. He was kind of bouncing a little bit, not really engaging. And then all of a sudden, you go for that little feint jab, and here comes that high kick.
Man. Bow. And then it was, go ahead.
I think that the big difference between UFC and boxing, you can't take a second off.
You can't relax.
MMA.
No, you can't.
You can lay on the ropes, you can route, you can run, but I mean,
it's a different preparation. And Bronco, a great friend of mine. Shout out to Bronco McCart, the champ. Bronco McCart.
Who's that?
I don't know him.
Yeah.
What up, champ?
Wait, who's that? Who?
Man,
you got me. I was like, wait, you're from Monroe,
right?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Right. Bronco. I mean, you guys grew up together.
Yeah, we fought together.
So you can give him a hard time.
I always do. He told me not when, not if, when, because I'm just always messing with him. One of these days, you're gonna get it. Not if, it's when. So
well, but I mean, you great friend, but he and I have had these conversations where he and I have talked about like just the difference in preparation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For a couple minutes, my vendors here.
Please, yeah. Go ahead.
Back and let Jeff tell you a little about the story.
Absolutely. We're close to wrapping anyway. So yeah. Go ahead and step out and come right back.
Thank you.
So anyway,
camera.
There you go.
Oh no, you're okay. That's what happens when you're live, man.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yep.
He's got business. He's got to handle business, and that's one of the things that we talk about quite often. Is business never sleeps, right?
Yes.
I mean, we're always trying to do stuff. So talk to us a little bit more about how did this come about with the signings? Like,
well, like I said, I was at Dan's house. When was it? Wednesday? Yeah,
I think it was Wednesday night. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, "Well, I'm not doing nothing Saturday." And I said, "Okay, well, you will be now."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I made a few phone calls. In a matter of 15 minutes, I had 2 of the 3 things. We wanted to do a thing at the karate school, but we can't do that this time. But next time we'll be able to work it out.
Todd was very receptive to that. Todd Williams, Monroe Jiu-Jitsu, very receptive about maybe hosting Dan to do some things, and hopefully, we can bridge that gap.
Yeah,
and make that
we can do that. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
well, see, I'm actually somewhat working for Dan on several different aspects of his life.
Wow, nice.
And he's actually bringing some of his UFC belts that he won.
Man, and these are the originals.
Yes.
I've seen photos. I can't wait to see them in
Man.
person, like the original, like with the, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm over here fanboying.
I know. Listen, I was on the phone, bro. I was on the phone.
And then, like I said, it cracks me up because I've worked with Steve Austin. I've worked with Mankind. I've worked with anybody.
Hey, today's Steve Austin Day.
I was just getting ready to say,
give me a hell yeah.
And I've worked with all those guys and coming up. I mean, they were in ECW.
Okay, but how did you start your career? And then how did you get connected with a lot? Like, okay, so how did you connect with the football players and stuff too, though?
Actually, their owner, me and him were on the radio together 30 years ago.
Man.
And he actually got a hold of me. He said, I forgot about bringing the football girls in, the Detroit Prowlers.
We had them in. Yep.
And he said, hey, you want to do an autograph signing? I said, sure, let's do it. And Ed gives me a lot of freedom to do what I think is best for the store. And anytime you can bring somebody in, it's got to be good.
Right.
I mean, this is kind of a small store, but you know what? We make do with what we have, and we have a great time doing it. I couldn't ask for a better friend. I don't want to call him a boss. I think it's a big head, but he's probably one of the best friends you could have.
Wow, that's awesome.
And same with Dan. Dan is a great friend. We'll go 6 months not speak to each other, and then we'll go every day for the next 2 months to talk to each other.
Right.
He is a very, very busy person.
Yeah.
He's one of these people who's going to be working 2 days after he's dead.
Wow.
I mean, he's just on the road all the time. I don't think he flies because he drove from Arizona, where he lives at in the winter, all the way to somewhere in Ohio, did a wrestling show, then came back to Coldwater.
Wow.
And he drove the whole time. I said, why do you do that?
Now, does he still have a school in Coldwater?
Yeah, he's actually he's got a very nice training facility.
Okay.
But he doesn't have it open. He closed it during COVID, and he says he don't know if he wants to open it back up and be tied down to that or not.
You know what? That happened a lot. Like I live part-time in Los Angeles.
Yeah. And
that happened a lot out in LA. A lot of the schools is shut down, and they were like, you know what?
Well, he actually asked me the other day if I'd come and run it for him.
Said, wow, that's hard work.
So he made a transfer from WWE or just
let me give you a little background on him. He's had over 400 collegiate wrestling wins.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look up how many people's done that.
Yeah, Dan's the man.
And forgive me if I'm wrong, Dan. I think he wrestled 18 times in one day in college in 3 different weight classes.
Man.
Wow.
I mean,
I got to remember 16. That. Yeah, I got to ask him about the podcast. That. Yeah.
Because I believe that's what he told me at one time.
Yeah.
So I mean, and like I said, the guy, he's got several different businesses he's working with. He has a CBD company, and Dan is a big CBD fan, and I am as well.
Yeah.
You don't do what we have done in our past, and our body's not hurt.
Right. Right.
I've had over 2,000 wrestling matches, and my body is just shot.
Yeah.
I mean, my back hurts, my hips hurt. I'm 57 years old, and that's all good. I wouldn't trade it for any minute of it for anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what they always say, right? I mean, if you're doing what you love, it's really not work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is, right? I mean, you're putting in the work, but you know what, man? It's like I've been
not
cooking.
Something that you're ready to just go home.
No.
Yeah.
I've been in a restaurant environment since I was 12 years old, cooking professionally since I was 15 years old. And man, I can't think of anything else I'd much rather. And I have other businesses, I have other business entities and interests and, investments and partnerships and things like that. But man, get me in the kitchen. It's where I'm home. Get me cooking. It's where I'm home. That's where.
But you asked me how I got involved in the wrestling.
Yeah.
Iron Sheik.
Really?
Oh my word.
No way.
Yes, Bubba, the Iron Sheik.
I remember.
I was
him.
working at a strip club, and he
Okay.
come in, and I was dragging a guy out by his head.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you were on the pole, but go ahead.
Hey, you know what? It takes a lot to do that. I've tried it before,
Do you know? Never mind. We'll
Hey,
talk
but
about that another time.
dude.
But-
you gotta have some serious arm strength.
Right, yeah. So you're dragging a guy
Yeah,
out.
I'm dragging him out, and I come back in, and he, well, nice to meet you. I'm Iron Sheik. I said, well, yeah, I know who you are. You know,
Yeah.
and you need to go to wrestling school. I didn't know there was such a thing. You know,
Yeah.
I'm 17 years old working at a strip club.
And it's not like the internet's real big then.
No,
So
back
you
then,
knew
heck,
nothing.
there was no
so-
internet back
No.
then.
yeah.
And you know, I just kind of blew it off. And a couple weeks later, I said, "Well, check it out." And I called Harley Race because I was living in St. Louis at the time. And Harley said, "Yeah, come on out. I'll show you." And my first 3 matches was with Bobo Brazil out of Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Yeah.
Bobo was a great guy. I worked with his kids. I've actually wrestled them too.
Wow.
Terry Funk was my second match.
Oh man, ECW legend.
Yeah.
Oh God, he beat the hell out of me.
I
I'm sorry
bet.
to put it that way, but I
No,
didn't
you
think I
can
was
say
gonna
whatever you want.
walk.
We're uncensored.
And Harley was the third guy.
Wow.
And I was black and blue for 2 weeks after all that. That's
That.
And they did that to see if I would come back.
Yeah.
And I'm a very hard-headed person. You're not going to run me out like that,
Right.
you know. But so I stuck around, and then I had kids, and I said, well, I need to stay home with them for a while.
Right.
And I did, and I'd wrestle here and there and off and on. And like I said, I've had about 2,000 matches, and Ed asked my record. Believe it or not, I have actually kept track of that.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's 800 and 1,200.
Right.
I actually won the
Yeah.
the last one I did was after my heart transplant.
Wow.
I did it with Jimmy Jacobs. I got a shirt on here. I got to give Jimmy a shout out.
There you go. Shout
Jimmy
out to
started
Jimmy
out.
Jacobs. Yeah.
He started working with me when he was 14 years old.
Wow.
Then he went to WWE. He was a writer for them. And now he's a writer for Impact. Greatest kid you could ever ask to meet. I mean, he's actually the only wrestler who come and visit me in the hospital when I had the heart transplant.
Wow.
Man.
But we did a match a couple years ago, and I did not realize how tired it was on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was very difficult for me to do what needed to be done, and
Yeah.
he knew it.
Yeah.
But he flew in from, I think he's living in Arizona at the time. He flew on his own dime
Wow.
to work that match with me.
Wow.
Wow. That's crazy.
I was gonna ask you who, throughout the years, who's been your favorite dance partner in the squared circle?
Balls Mahoney.
Balls Mahoney. Yes.
Balls would knock the hell out of you with that chair.
What
He
did-
hit me one time. I don't remember where it was at. He hit me so hard my ears were bleeding. I went back in the locker room and I got my bag, grabbed my gun, and stuck it in his face. Don't you ever do that again? I'll fucking kill you.
Man,
He-
listen, I'm gonna tell you. So I wasn't a big wrestling. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't a big wrestling fan growing up.
Yeah.
So Rhino and Gary and those guys,
Yeah.
they put on the events out at the FOP,
Yeah.
right? So I'm a big sponsor. I love sponsoring the stuff because it's Monroe. I support all things Monroe.
Yeah.
And I'd been sponsoring them, and Gary's like, "Man, are you ever gonna come? You ever gonna come?" And I said, "Well, Gary, they're on Thursday nights. It's always during prime dinner time." I'm like, "Yeah, let me see, right?" So finally, my son Jack, loves it, and he's like, "Well, Dad, like, can we go?" I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? They gave me free seats. Why not?" So we go, and there's 2 things I'm going to say really quick. But we go to this thing, and as we're walking in, they're giving us our passes. There was a grandma with these 2 little kids, 2 little boys, right? And so, I asked Dawn. I said, "Hey, how many tickets do we have?" Because they're opening the door. We're there for the VIP stuff.
Yeah.
And the boys are like looking in, and the grandma's like, no, that's not, we got to wait.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, how many seats do we have?" She goes, "Oh, you got like 6. And it's just me and my son."
Mhm.
So I go, "Can I give them to her?" And so the grandma comes in with the 2 little boys, and, and they sat down. And so my son and I are standing behind them. And I was there with Mikey Shue. I was there
Yeah.
with Jake Elmer and his daughter and stuff. And just a great time. But my son, Jack, and I, these 2 little boys are standing on the chairs.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just going bananas,
Yeah.
for the whole thing. And I Gary comes over and thanks me for going. I said, "Listen, man, right here.
That's why you
I
do it.
will." I said, "I will always support this event
Yeah.
because, that just
Yep.
the kids there." So that night was the first time I'd seen somebody get hit with a crutch. And, everyone says it's fake.
Oh, no, that shit.
These guys are getting fucking racked
Yes.
on the back. And my son Jack's like, Dad, that guy's bleeding. I'm like, holy cow! Like this guy's back is like,
yeah.
You know, one of my favorite things that people say, well, that's fake blood. You know what? That pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to work and you're not bleeding. I am.
Right.
I have never blocked a chair shot. I always took it to the head.
Yeah.
I always have. And I take a lot of them. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
You know, because you watch them. You guys put their hands up like this. I never have.
Yeah.
I've always taken it, unfortunately, like a man. I don't know if it's good or bad.
right.
Because if you block it, it doesn't. You can't sell it the way. Yeah. I mean, it has to be something good. But getting back to the rhino thing, I was actually at Taco Bell one night that they were doing a show, and this kid's there. He's got a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt on, and I said, "Well, do you know about the wrestling show in town?" "Yeah, we're gonna go." And for some reason or another, I had some Rhino cards out in my car.
Yeah.
From I think it were WWE ones. So I went out and I grabbed a couple. So here, get these signed. Well, how do I get them back to you? So no, they're for you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the reason you get into that business or the sports card business is to help the kids out, because you can be a positive influence on them no matter who you are or how you do it.
Right.
You just got to act half.
Well, and that's, you know what, and that was kind of cool to hear. And I know we're going to be wrapping up here in just a few minutes, but that was cool to hear Ed talk about, and the stories. He loves the stories.
Oh yeah, I love stories too. That's my thing.
Well, and that's, if you ever go to his health food shop, that's one thing. And we keep joking around about it. I'm like, bro, we need to rename this place the shop.
Yeah.
Because, people come in and, like he was saying, like the barber shop and that, same thing. It's that vibe. It's that energy that, you're sitting there, you're chopping it up, you're talking, and it's like you become instant friends. How many people have I met down at your place?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like the girls upstairs that have the, the dance studio and stuff like that. Different ones coming in, and you're just like, you start talking, you're like, oh man, I know where that place. Yeah, I do use the podcast there, blah blah blah.
Right.
It's super cool though.
Well, before we wrap up again, I want to make sure we remind everybody about this Saturday.
Yes. Yeah.
Dan Severn's going to be at Cravings, then down at Amaya's. So come out and say hi to him, meet him, shake his hand, get something signed, whatever you need to do, because you're not going to find a more down to earth, cooler person in this world. He
genuine guy.
When you meet him, you say, "Wow, he's just a normal person."
Yeah,
and you would think a guy who has beat the crap out of people for a living for his whole life, literally, would be psycho or something.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't even know that's what he did for a living.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, he's very calm.
Wow,
and it blows my. I actually did make him mad at me a time or two.
So what were you gonna ask?
So you can come back in.
Yeah, come back in, man.
Make sure we don't. There we go. Perfect.
Oh, you're good. You're
good.
Perfect. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. So I feel like, a form of wealth is having many different relationships. I feel like that's one of like the greatest things that you can have is relationships with people. And you seem to have a lot of relationships with a lot of great people. Can you just share with us, like, what's the key? Because a lot of people, when they get into a position where they see somebody famous, or they see somebody that's done something great or whatever, they kind of shut down or they don't know what to say. Like, what would you say? You
treat everybody like they're your brother. I mean, like I said, Dan is a great friend of mine. Jimmy's a great friend of mine. I text Butterbean for these guys to get him on the show, and he's going to do it. I just treat everyone pretty much equal. I don't look at anyone up here.
Yeah.
I look at everybody eye level, and that's really it.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ed is probably one of my best friends. I would do anything in the world for him, but I don't treat him any different I would Mankind.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I know Mankind as well.
But you treat Mick Foley a little different than you treat. No, I'm just
I would probably treat Mankind different than Foley because Mankind's kind of psycho,
Right.
But he's a great guy. Mick is awesome.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll bring him in someday soon.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, he's
a busy guy too, huh?
He's hilarious. You would love him.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story once we get off there.
Definitely. Yeah. So I got to know what's your Mount Rushmore. What's your top four guys in the business?
I think The Rock's got to be there. Ooh. Undertaker's got to be there. Yeah. Stone Cold's got to be there. Yeah. And I hate to say it, definitely not Hulk Hogan.
I would.
Hulk Hogan has one match. That's it.
Was that the Andre the Giant?
And after that, they were all just the same match.
Yeah.
But he's entertaining.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
It's entertainment. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? And I can say, like I said, I wasn't a big wrestling fan, but I love The Rock. I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, and it drew me. There was a couple. I'll tell you the other guys that I really loved. I don't know if you guys remember the British Bulldogs.
Yes.
Man, I loved, and I wasn't a wrestling fan, but anytime they were going to be on, bro, I was there. I mean, I had to see it, and back then it was on Channel 20. I just remember that for some reason.
I did like it when Hogan went to the NWO. I love Conan. I love Scott Hall.
Conan
I love those guys, and the entertainment was great.
Yeah,
Now, do you feel like Cena could be in that? I feel like there was a time
at one time, maybe so,
when everyone quit on Vince, that Cena put the company on his back and ran with it.
Well, I mean, Cena is a good wrestler. I mean, he's a great wrestler.
Yeah,
he does a very good job, and his job is to put butts in the seats.
Yeah,
and if you put as many as he has in there, you deserve to be on it.
I agree. I can agree with you.
There's one guy that ran me out watching this, and when Kurt Angle came in, I couldn't stand him, and I stopped. I lost all interest. Stone Cold Steve Austin was gone. The Rock came once in a while. I could not stand Kurt Angle.
Wow.
so I stopped watching it.
I know. That cracks me up. Like I said, there's things I won't say on air because it alienates people, and I had to think about it before I say stuff. But I'll tell you a story about Jimmy Snuka.
Okay, Superfly.
Me and him was doing a show, and I actually drove there. I just picked up my brand new truck. When I got it, had 3 miles on it. I think we were in Burke's Run, actually. I get there, and Jimmy goes, "Well, can I borrow your truck? Go get some smoke." So sure, I got 200 miles on it. I look outside, he's doing a burnout.
No.
In the parking lot. Then he comes back, and in the back of my truck was full of beer and ice. I don't know if he got a cigarettes or not, but I said, dude.
When he went and got some beer.
Yeah, he got beer and ice, and Luna Vachon, I love her to death. She was on the card too. I'll tell you this story. Me and Jimmy was down at about 3 or 4 hours for a show. I'm having a salad because that's what I ate. And Jimmy's at the other table, and there's 3 school teachers there. All 3 of them pretty hot girls. I'm working my angle, and Luna walks in. Norm, what the hell? What? Did you get rid of them crabs? I turned back around. Those 3 girls disappeared. I mean, like in thin air. I said, "Why did you do that for?" That was funny, wasn't it?
She said, "I'm working on my promo." So
I was never so. I didn't even. I looked over. Snook is almost on the ground laughing.
Wow.
I said, "Man," I'm done.
That is awesome.
Well, guys, we just got the sign. We got about 3.5 minutes. So once again, Ed Shinovar, Cravings Cards and Collectibles. You know where the shop is at. Guys, if you get a chance, you want to stop down, you heard the man, even if you just stop in to say hi. Again, I mean, growing up, I loved comic books. I was a comic book kid. I was never a big collector. We did do like the cards just for the bubble gum that was inside. A lot of times you rip them open, get the bubble gum out. You know what I mean? But, it's something fun you can do with the family.
There is collectors that appreciate the art that comes in comics.
And
those I like because they appreciate the art. They collect the comics. They read the books. Not all about money.
Right.
Money can be made.
Yeah,
it can be a collectible and a hobby as well.
And so one of my children, I'm a big reader, and one of my children, my son Brady, he's out in LA. Shout out to him. He's got a really cool little career happening right now in Hollywood. But he reads a lot of comics, but he reads more of the anime stuff. And it's really cool because I love watching, like I collect books, and it's fun watching him kind of follow a little bit in my footsteps where he makes sure like all his comics are put in he's like making sure like they're in a box and that the box is like covered and labeled, and who knows if they'll ever be worth anything, but it's just the fact that he loves the art so much he doesn't want it to get damaged.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's just really cool. But anyway, cards and collectibles, something you can do with a family. It's great to see fathers and sons get out and bond in a different, unique way.
Grandparents and grandchildren.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
My favorite.
Yeah. Well, like you, starting with your grandpa, and that's kind of like,
Yeah.
our stories here. I mean, Jeff was really close with his grandfather. I was really close with my grandfather. We did a lot of fun stuff together. And then, of course, Jeff Hill bringing in some of these superstars, and bringing them down to the shop so they can do card signings and or autograph signings, excuse me. They can take photos. They've got merchandise for sale, things like that. Again, family, fun environment, things for the whole family to come and enjoy. So, guys, thank you so much for coming out,
Thank you, guys. Really
Thank
appreciate
you for
you.
coming out and letting us know a little bit more about what you do and who you are. Again, Saturday, Jeff, hit it. What are we doing Saturday?
Well, hopefully everybody's going to show up at Cravings around 1 o'clock. Do
1
an
o'clock.
autograph signing till 3.
Yes.
Then we're going to come up here and do another podcast with you guys.
Yes.
Then we're going down to Amaya's. We'll sit down there until the fight's over and sign autographs, meet people, shake
And
hands.
on your way to Cravings, if you have a collection, you or somebody know that they want to sell it, bring it in. We'll look at it and we'll purchase it.
Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Good promos,
I love to
guys.
buy.
Yeah. Good
I love
promos,
spending Ed's
guys.
money.
Well, listen, everybody, I want to thank you once again for tuning in. Boss Talk Uncensored with my good friend, Jeff Copi. I'm Tino Amaya.
We're out of here.
Let's go. Peace.
Boss Talks, keep it uncensored, it's all hard. You could be for more walks. Come tune in to Boss Talks.